All right, it is superstar guest week here on Bleav in Chargers. No, don't look over your shoulder. It's the
Superstar, yes, boy, oh boy.
arguably the greatest quarterback performance in Super Bowl history. I still remember where I was when I watched it. Number 11, it hangs. It'll never be worn again. One of the greats to ever do it, and not just on the field, but off the field. Always loved listening to Phil Simms and watching Phil Simms break everything down. And now we got him with us, I should say, here on Bleav in Chargers. So thanks for doing it, Phil. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. This was a lot of hard work between us.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Monday at 11:30, I'll be ready. I can't make it. I don't know. I don't know how many times I canceled.
Right. No,
Thank,
we're fine.
thank you for having patience.
None needed. This is worth it. The Bleav in Chargers fans going to be excited about this one. A big thank you to Lindsay for setting this whole thing up. It's brought to you by FanDuel. A big thanks to our friends at FanDuel. I just want to jump right into it, Phil, if you don't mind. Just because, your career starts one way and then all of a sudden you just kind of take off. How much of that was an OC, a quarterback coach, you figuring out, because obviously I'm going to segue into where Mike McDaniel fits into all this with Justin Herbert and just kind of how important those circumstances and people around you are to the quarterback position?
Well, trying to put that back to when I played is you just can't do it. The quarterback position has changed dramatically. Pro football has changed dramatically since I played. We did it. It was the running back was the star. I was starting to creep in with the Dan Marino and John Elway, but even then, it still wasn't like it is now. Every game, win or lose, well, our quarterback stinks, and that kind of thing. Or well, whatever. So, and also too, the game was a lot simpler. The game is sideline to sideline. Now we have more formations, more movement, more little trick plays, whatever. I mean, come on. I watch college football and pro football. If you don't throw at least 6 completions on screen passes, then you're falling behind what's going on. I mean, college football is unbelievable. They throw a screen pass every other play, it seems like, for many reasons. One, they can't design something to get it down the field. They don't coach it well enough, and maybe they don't have faith in the quarterback. But those are just a few of my pet peeves.
Yeah, the old bubble screen. I remember when Lane showed up at USC, we started calling it Bubble Screen U, man.
Really? Okay.
It's what they did. Well, and I guess to help the people watching and me as well, the difference between screen game and quick game, because that's what a lot of people are talking about with Mike McDaniel and quick game, and how there was such a lack of it in Greg Roman's offense for Justin Herbert is seemed to get his head knocked off last year. And that was something that Mike McDaniel came in his press conference, and even with Justin Herbert, kind of talked about immediately, that we got to get this quick game going, throwing under 2.4 seconds.
He would be one of the few guys in the NFL, Mike McDaniel, that can do that. And when the Chargers signed him, and I went, oh my God, good. I mean, I was so excited for, the team is following, a little bit, and the Harbaugh brothers, I love them, so I always follow what they do. But what he is going to do for Justin Herbert, what he's going to do for the offensive line, what's he going to do for Mike McDaniels? He's got to be looking at Justin Herbert going, you know what I'm saying, man? They're just going, he's going, wow, when I sit in that room at night and design plays, there's no limit to what we can do. And that's what he's going to do. He made an offense that was really special and unique for Tua. That's why they hired him. And I would hope and think that's the same reason the Chargers hired him too, because he's going to give it a whole different look. Talk about, Greg Roman. Well, Greg Roman saw Justin Herbert, and he did what he thought he was doing was right. I got a guy that can really get it down the field, and by God, we're going to try. But the problem with it blew up because of offensive line injuries, other things, and just the Eagles game. What was that, on a Monday night?
Yeah, it was a primetime game. I think it was a Monday night.
Man, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I was just sitting there for both quarterbacks, really more for Justin Herbert, because I thought at that time that Jalen Hurts was having more opportunities, but I just couldn't get over it. The hits, I just can't believe he made it through the year without getting hurt because, man,
Yeah.
he didn't take hits. He was taking like the most powerful punch a defense can get to you. Just run him over. It's
Yeah.
just, it was, and I got to tell you, I'm watching the game going, I hate this game. Come on. Can we just run an extra protection and keep the running back in? You're allowed to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the wacky triple fumble game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There was that play. Deshaun Hand with the interception, fumbles. Jalen picks it up, fumbles. Chargers recover it. That was it was a while. So go ahead, Phil.
Well, no, man, I was just going to say it just showed you how tough the game and how different it was. Jalen Hurts actually threw it outside the numbers, so they were getting desperate.
Just kind of getting into that then with the offensive line. So we expect, and you always go into a season hoping the guys are going to stay healthy for 17 games. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But kind of take us through as a quarterback having tackles like Alton Slater and how much that's going to change things, because people are freaking out a little bit about who's our left guard and what, and so, but you're going to get Alton Slater back. So kind of take us through what you think this offensive line could do this year.
Well, I think it can be really, really good. And, I'll study them a little more here probably this month just because training camps are opening up and I want to know more. But they got the greatest pass protector I think they could get, and that's the offensive coordinator. So what? Okay, we can block. We got it. We're good. Man, we're going to really open this up. Now, if there's a little issue, they worry about it, he's going to change it to make it less stressful and take away something from that defense that thinks they're going to get there because of an injury or because maybe Justin Herbert holds the ball too long or something like that. Mike McDaniel he's going to change all that. So the O-line, yes, the coaching of the O-line, but the play caller, play designer is just as important as all those other guys.
Do you feel like, you mentioned what it was like when you were playing, do you feel like we're getting a return to the running back just with, Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs and how some of these offenses are now starting to run? Because I look, I step on the field for training camp and practices and I see Omarion Hampton and I just go, holy cow, man, like this, this could be the biggest sort of improvement for this. Do you feel like that's happening in the NFL now? We are getting back to that?
I would say, just to give a yes or no, yes, I think it is, and what's happening, we're getting running backs that are coming out in the draft that they're freaks. I mean, my God, just look at this past year, Notre Dame, we don't have one first round pick. We got two. And when I would study them, I go, I'm not sure which one I like more. So, but the running back, the play calling, again, the design, and you're right. Omarion Hampton is just loved him at North Carolina, and his skill set. I always think this about running backs is going, okay, it's really good. I really like it, but the holes they're pretty big for a lot of the plays. How's this going to translate? Well, we know that answer. It translated pretty damn good for the Chargers, and it's going to now that you're going to have to worry about more stuff coming at you on the defensive side. I think it's going to make the running game even better.
Yeah, they, that Giants game was his coming out party. Unfortunately, it was a game they lost, but he had that 50, I think it was a 58-yarder. He had that run where he carried 2 or 3 guys 18 yards down the field. He ends up getting kicked in the ankle and breaking a bone the next week on kind of a freak injury, and it was never the same after that. And, I guess I don't know if you played in how many different offenses you played in, but, with Hampton, a lot of people, perfect for gap and duo and power, and now you've got this wide zone, and then everyone's like, oh, he's perfect for wide zone. So it just feels like he's going to be a good back no matter what he's in. But what do you think about this offense and maybe the opportunities it will provide and how it will be different than what he was asked to do last year?
Well, listen, we know what's going to happen. We saw him down in Miami, and, I love the coach when they interviewed him once about running backs. He goes, what is, something of speed?
Yes.
He couldn't get it out. He got it out of his mouth before the question said speed. That's what I'm looking. But I would watch them, and I watched the Miami Dolphins a lot last year. I don't know why, because you could see they weren't going to be a dynamic team. But I think I did it just to watch Tua and see what they were doing, and it was all there to be had as far as throwing the football. But yeah, he's a very creative run guy. I would say he comes up with 3 or 4 different gadgets. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Reverse, just something you just go, damn, that was clever. And it just kind of shows you his mind and everything. And so I don't worry about the running back that he's going to get the cover, the carries. And I think it'll be a great mix between the quarterback running the football and everything. I will be very surprised. And I'm going to, as you can hear me, I'm going to keep talking. I think the Chargers offense is going to be something to be very scared of.
Well, that'll our friends at FanDuel may agree with you, because if you have an explosive offense, then your MVP very likely could be the orchestrator of that offense. And maybe it's Mike McDaniel in the play calling, but Justin Herbert, when you look at these MVP odds, Josh Allen, prohibitive favorite, that's actually plus 600. And then Lamar, Drake tied. Of course, Drake finished second last year, right behind that, last year's MVP Stafford. And then there's Justin Herbert, and that's a pretty impressive board, right? If you just kind of see Herbert thrown into that group with Allen, Jackson, Burrow, Stafford, you feel like he belongs in that group, because a lot of people think Justin Herbert is, the media maybe glosses him up a little bit too much because he doesn't have that playoff win. That just seems to be the one thing that a lot of people sort of complain about.
Well, first off, that's a good list you got there. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, that's a gimme every year. Drake May, we'll see how that goes. Joe Burrow, health. Matt Stafford, oh my gosh, come on. Has there been a better damn thrower in this league ever than Matt Stafford? And, for all the people that think they shine him up, Justin Herbert and all that, shut up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay? It's just plain and simple. If we drafted NFL quarterbacks right now, the whole league, and throw them all in one pot, I'm going to tell you, Justin Herbert's going to go high, really high. And so I don't mean to be – I'm not trying to be funny or nothing like that. But let's see as I watch him play. Hard time getting open, under pressure, consistently under pressure, big hits and all that. You can't overcome the lack of talent sometimes in spots, and you can't overcome coaching that's not doing enough to help the players that really don't have the manpower to be what you want. So you got to change it. And that would probably be one of the drawbacks I thought the team had last year.
Yeah, I get to see him week in and week out calling the games, and I think the most impressive thing, and I'm sure I would love to know if you have a couple that pop into your mind when I say it, but when you're in the meal room or you're on the plane and you're just walking around, like when you stand next to Justin Herbert, he's a horse. I mean, he is a horse of a human. He's a legitimate 6'6", 250 pounds. Same thing with Derwin James, Khalil Mack. There are just certain people that are, and especially at that court, you said, how does this guy go out there for 17 games taking that beating? I can promise you, if that wasn't Justin Herbert, whoever the quarterback is not going out there for 17 games.
Well, you described all those guys, and I don't love the word, but you understand, they're freaks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of a kind. And, I didn't like Justin Herbert coming out of Oregon. I loved him. I just kept going, what don't you like? He's mobile. He's a giant. He has one of the best arms I've ever seen. And it was the same thing, with Josh Allen and up there in Buffalo. Well, he'll never win. He's inaccurate. You can't teach accuracy. In other words, that is a really stupid statement. And whoever said it, which I know I don't want to say his name because he's a superstar, and I got enough battles going on. But yeah,
you don't want to fight a war on two fronts. Ask Germany. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, but here's my thing. This Justin Herbert talk. Well, he's got to win a playoff game. I'm so sick of hearing all that stuff. Well, they got to win more games. It's up to the quarterback. Oh my God, he holds his end up. Yeah. You can't be a miracle worker when you don't have the chance. And now if he gets opportunities this year, well, I'm not even going to say it, because if he has the opportunity, he's going to make it work. Yeah. I have no doubt about it. And, he's lost some tough playoff games. Come on. That game they lost down in Houston. I mean, what did you want him to do? That was another one. That was just, the game is over. Well, Justin Herbert, his numbers and his quarterback rating. If I ever say quarterback rating on TV or anything like that, just smack me across the head. What the hell's quarterback rating got to do with anything?
Yeah, that was, and look,
it's a number, another damn number.
I take incoming because I work for the Chargers, and so they just assume I'm painting it, as pretty a picture as I possibly can. But I say, look, if you take that Houston game, you get 2 early turnovers on their side of the ball. I got a tight end that drops a ball that might have gone for a touchdown, that certainly would have been a first and goal. And then I've got a running game that can't get blocked up. You're in 3rd and 8 every single time you drop back to pass. And that could have certainly changed the complexion of that game. And, 4 interceptions. One of them's probably a ill-advised throw, but it's a guy that's trying to make something happen.
Oh, yeah.
He's got no running game,
Yeah. Hey, look, if he plays a game where I think he is the number one culprit, of course I'm going to tell it and say it. It is. But, I look at it through, and people say things to me all the time about this. Well, you just like quarterbacks. No. I judge them fairly, I think. And I don't look at the number to tell me what he is. It's like Caleb Williams. The story, I saw it not long ago on TV. I'm not going to mention his name. Well, he's really got to work on that completion percentage. Why? 58%. And, you know what? He needs more screens. There you go. Throw a few more screens. But you want to take away his dynamic ability to drive the ball down the field like only 2 or 3 other quarterbacks in the league could do it. And he's another one. I can't wait to see him this year. Now, him and the head coach, they're together. The head coach now is a believer, and the quarterback's a believer too in the head coach. And so, it's
I'm glad you brought him up because I look at Chicago and you see all those tight ends, right? Colston Loveland, right. Cole Kmet, and now I kind of see, if you look at the Chargers, really, the one room they remade more than any other is their tight end room. They said goodbye to Tucker Fisk and Will Dissly, their top 2, tight ends from last year, and then Oronde Gadsden now after missing the first 4 games, just being a healthy and active as a rookie. So now you've got Charlie Kolar, who was dynamic. I know you study the draft better than anybody. I mean, you know how dynamic he was at Iowa State as a receiver, and then he was asked to block, and he did a heck of a job of that at Baltimore. But I do think they're going to unlock a lot of that receiving game that they know is inside of him from his college days. And then you had David Njoku. If they can keep him healthy and limit his reps, to go with a second year in Gadsden, I feel like we're having kind of this tight end renaissance, right? And what Sean McVay's doing with 13 personnel and what Kyle does up there in San Francisco, it does feel like that might be maybe more of a feature. Do you see that for this offense with Mike McDaniel?
1,000%. The tight end it's what's the word for it? It is really a position that's coming on, man. Everybody wants 2 of them at least. And these guys are in-betweeners. They were growing up thinking they're going to be a wide receiver, and then they got big and they go, oh, so they're a tight end who can run. And think about the matches. So that's the other thing. Linebackers, strong safety, whatever, or, those kind of guys trying to cover these tight ends, which are turning into freaks almost every team. Every team's got a guy you go, dang, who's going to cover him? I mean, it's amazing. I look at the damn Giants. They had like, I don't know how many they had, 5 in the offseason, but so – it's the matches, the confusion it can call for the defense, and running games. Of course, they got to be good blockers. You got to have at least that blocking tight end. And I was very fortunate. I had 2 really, really good tight ends. And when in doubt, just throw it to them.
Right.
They're going to find a way to make the play for you. So, that'll be big. Everything is running back, O-line, coach, tight ends. We want it all. And I think the Chargers have a chance to show a lot of these things up this year.
Yeah, kind of build on that a little bit, Phil, because, from the moment he was, pushed into starting in that Kansas City game after the accident with Tyrod Taylor, Justin loves his tight ends, man. It doesn't matter who you give him. Obviously, it was a shame he had to lose Hunter Henry. They were something special in the red zone. He ends up leaving. But after that, whether it was Jared Cook or Gerald Everett, like every year you look at those tight end numbers, and he's got a 600-yard, 5 to 7 touchdown tight end. What is it about that position that is so friendly for quarterbacks?
Well, first, they're close to the quarterback. They're there. It's a lot of, not to say short routes, but they're working underneath. And most of the time, physically, they have the advantage just because they're a little more mobile than the guy maybe covering them. As we talk about linebackers, the quarterback can look people off and get it to them. And, I would say this. There are a few teams that have tight ends where they can really get it down the field with their tight end too. And I would think the Chargers, as you said it, the position. They're going to need that a little bit because I don't look at the wide receiving core and just go, look out. It's going to be all about them. I don't see that, but it's still good enough to win a lot of games. That's for sure.
You had a McConkey. What do you think of Ladd McConkey?
Hey, the one ingredient you can't measure, he just knows how to play. Okay, yeah. He's just got it. He's the guy in the basketball court. He may not be the biggest, the fastest, this and that, but the game's over. His team wins, and oh shoot, he scored 20. And he's got that. There's nothing like having a tight end or a wide receiver that no matter what, your trust in him is 100%. And it's really important. It just makes you feel good as a quarterback that you don't have to second guess anything you see. And Ladd McConkey, I love all these. Puka Nacua,
right?
Studied him coming out, and I go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, now look, right?
Fast enough, this and that, and what's really happened? Well, even with the Chargers, my gosh, Justin Herbert had two guys just throw it. They were going to use their body to catch it and all that. But yeah, the tight end guys like Ladd McConkey, you need players like that to really be a great offense. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think, the other side of that too is, and look, again, I admit it, maybe I'm an apologist. And when you're around the guys and you get to know them and you know how hard they're working and they're trying and they're not, sure, slacking off. Like Quentin Johnston works as hard as anybody on this team. Yeah, the players love him. Herbert loves him and routinely sticks up for him. I thought Q got put into a really crappy position his rookie year when Mike went down. He was not an X. He was not an outside receiver. He didn't track the ball well, never really had to do that at TCU. And that, I think, is where a lot of those drops came into play. There were other critical drops, but since that rookie year, Keenan had the most drops in the NFL last year. The most. Q was at 2.6%. And to this day, I got Charger fans saying they got to bring back Keenan. They should have never picked up that fifth-year option on Q. And I'm like, look, I get it, guys. It was a rookie year that didn't go great. But when you look at it, Phil, and you see a receiver that maybe isn't necessarily naturally that X, let's just run go routes, which is what he was asked to do more than anybody else on the team the last couple of years. And now maybe McDaniel puts him into that position of what he was doing it. When he lit up Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team for 170 yards and a couple touchdowns in that semifinal, like, can you see that? Can you see Q having like a really bust out year with Mike McDaniel because of how he might use him?
Yes. I when he was coming out, my worry was, is he, I don't know if I can remember the exact words, but he's a little stiff catching the ball. The good receivers, man, they're just flowing. They got that rhythm, always have it. The ball's coming. They don't even break stride if it's behind them. Just reach back, catch the damn thing, keep running. So I think he's well, we're going to find out. Of course, there are some weaknesses, which you just talked about. Size, speed, man. But then when it was at TCU, I just saw too many plays and go, oh, wow. And the end of my whole story here is that I'd still draft him in the first round. I got done. I go, because when it's your only job now to be a football player, and you don't have to worry about classwork and all that when you do in college or whatever is going on, or we got a quarterback that can't even throw it to the sideline, much less to me. But it's got to change. This is a huge year for him. It really is. This could define his career, what kind of money he's going to make, where he's going to play, all those things. And I always think this too. Jerry Rice wasn't a natural catcher of the ball. I mean, that was his big issue. Dropped way too many passes. Even early in his career, he dropped. But look what happened. Why did he get better? Because he worked day and night to be a better player and a better pass catcher of the football. And all of a sudden, after so many years, you go, damn, he's graceful. I hated it. I'd stand on the sideline and go, can't we double team Jerry Rice? Is it
Yeah.
But it's really, man, if this just catches on and he turns out to be the guy that everybody wants him to be, man, that's huge. So
yeah, no, that's absolutely, fair. The gather that's always been there. And it's funny because
apologize. Don't apologize for what the fan, what the hell? Tell them the truth. People say to me, why do you get angry and all this other stuff about it. I said, because it's my job to tell the truth about the players and coaches. I don't make it up. Okay. But I'm telling you the truth because I watch a lot of TV. Now, if you're on TV, I'm going to see what you say because that's, I'll watch whatever. But how well, I said this once to a really good friend of mine. He goes, Phil, all we have to go on is what we read and what we hear. And I said, that's a great thing. You're right. You're right. So it's up to people covering the game, whatever your job is to tell the truth for the player, for their family, for their kids, whatever it is. Yeah. So I do get fired up about it when
good things are
not true. They're stupid. And well, whatever. I'll let it go with that.
The whatever's fine. So let's go Super Bowl. Let's kind of talk big picture here because you're in a tough division. The Broncos had the best record in football last year, or in the AFC last year, and now you get to look at these Super Bowl odds and kind of where FanDuel has the Chargers slotted in. You've got obviously the Bills that feel like they are in the mix every time. An unfortunate play for them in that conference semi. Rams prohibitive favorites. I mean, look at that, plus 550. Next in line are the defending champs at plus 1,000. Right there with the Bills, Ravens, and Chargers. They're the only. If you look at it, like I just said, the Broncos had the best record in football. They lost their quarterback for the conference championship. On paper, I think it's easy to say it's the most talented defense. Maybe the Seahawks are in that conversation as well, but one of the more talented teams. So what do you make of the Chargers kind of being on there? No Chiefs, no Broncos, which kind of suggests FanDuel thinks they're probably your AFC West winner.
Well, it does kind of show you what the scope of what people really think about the Chargers. And I think this all comes to that the coaching. I think everybody's alert to that. They are with those odds. And it's not much, the difference between 6-10 and 10-6. It's so minute and minute. Or how do you say that word? Minute, whatever.
It works.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so, which I've already said many times, I think the new offensive coordinator is the most important person they got this offseason. And hey, if it doesn't work, if I don't. What you and I have already talked about, if I don't see it, then, coach, don't listen because I'm going to get you, not get you, but it's just got to work when I look at it. And that's what people are expecting.
What about the other teams in the division, Phil? Because like you said, you watch a lot. So what do you think of what Sean Payton has with Bo Nix, with the Broncos, and kind of what they were able to put to, man, it was a weird year for them last year. Some of those games, I don't know how the hell they pulled them out. And then with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes coming off a pretty darn serious knee injury.
Yeah.
And sort of what you think those two teams are going to look like.
I think Kansas City will be a different team. They're going to try to coach it up as much as they can and all that. But in the long run, I think it's going to be a rough year. And, Patrick Mahomes, there's just one thing. Don't come back too early because that never works for anybody. Yeah. So that's a big deal. But overall, the team – no, they've been throwing Band-Aids on it for many, many years now. And I will be very surprised if the Chiefs are like somebody that we really got to look out for on the AFC side. So, and then when you talk about the Denver Broncos, how you like Bo Nix now, everybody? Is he a franchise quarterback? You damn right he is. He's a franchise quarterback. Well, I didn't like Bo Nix when he came out. Well, that's because you probably just read an article or two and just determined that's what it was going to be. But he's actually watching him on the field. I don't know what you think, but he's better physically than I thought he would be. And, man, how about Sean Payton. He puts him out there. It isn't like we're going to manage the game and protect you. It's throw it down there. Here we go. And of course, his mobility was a big thing. And he throws the ball really, really well on the run. And I don't know if the numbers are not, but my perception is they throw it down the field as much as any team in the NFL. They're always looking for the big play.
Yeah, it's a really talented team. And in the Charger, credit to to Coach Harbaugh. He's, for whatever reason, man, he and Jesse Minter have had the Broncos number. They have been the one team, and I just saw an interview with Sean, and a lot of great stuff to come out of that, talking about the Bill Belichick coming to get his record, and and he was going to take it back. But he did say in there the one team they didn't want to see in the playoffs was the Chargers, and there was something about the way that they were able. And I'll ask you, because I mean, you know Sean really well. I almost feel like it's not. I don't know how to say this. It's just almost like a series of plays. Like he just sees things differently, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this play." It's not really. I don't know what that offense is. It just feels like it's a series of plays that this guy sees something, and that's what he calls. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. He is an extremely aggressive play caller. He doesn't worry about failure. In other words, he's not going to chicken out and go, "Well, I'm not going to call that play because maybe you'll." No, that gets him more excited. Yeah, we'll show him. Let's do it. And his play designs, his play calling, which is super aggressive. The quarterbacks, doing everything they ever wanted out of him. That's for sure. So yeah, they're tough, and I can see where the Chargers are a little more conservative. And when you play that way, he doesn't like that. If that makes sense, he wants you to be a little aggressive. Because now it's easier to give formations and do things where you can spring guys free.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. I mean, that's Jesse Minter to a T. Rarely blitzes. He wants to get home with 4. It's why he needs those 3 pass rushers and that NASCAR package with them at the same time. And Derwin being that ultimate sort of X factor, Swiss Army knife, queen on the chessboard, whatever you want to call him. Like, what do you think? When you're back there and you're ready to take a snap and you see Derwin, kind of what is it about someone like that when they are closer to the line of scrimmage? They might be defending the slot. They might be coming after you. They might be dropping deep into coverage. What is the challenge that presents?
Well, a couple of things. Let me just go back. Don't forget that question. I'm going to say this about Sean Payton. When he had Bo Nix as a rookie and they would play 3 quarterbacks, he game planned for all 3. So he wanted to get them really, truly ready. So that was one thing which I loved about him. Okay. But Derwin James. So if I'm the quarterback, I'm studying his rear end all week because he's such a big component he can ruin the game and win the game for you, or for them, I should say. So I'm going to learn all that. And then I know what I'm going to do as far as might have to play a little careful, but I'm going to make sure that we have an extra blocker in case he blitzes. And then if he, certain matchups, if you get what you want, then you go after him a little bit. But I think the big thing is just his athletic ability and what he can do. He can do everything. So you got to be ready for it all. But if you study it, understand it, and then implement an offense that's going to kind of help you out too, doing what's right, then you're okay. But great player. Loved him when he was coming out in the draft, and boy, he has not disappointed anybody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people listen to the pod, but a lot of people watch on YouTube. They want to know what you're wearing. It's kind of like you got an all-star logo here. You got Capelli Sport here. It's almost like a bowling shirt or like you're going to a competition or something, Phil. What do we got going? What do we got going here?
I run a high school all-star game up here, which we had 2 weeks ago, and it went great. And I was running around. I actually went over to my daughter's house. She has 3 kids. I made them breakfast. I took them to camp, whatever, did all that. And I ran in here and I go, damn, I don't have any clean shirts. So that's what this is. I think it says my name somewhere. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I just saw all-star. There it is.
Really small.
There we go.
Yeah, but the all-star game up here in high school, I love it. And it's great fun to see all these kids play. And you know what? It's a little scary, Matt.
Yeah.
Because if these are high school players, if I'm sitting next to a college team practice, and what the hell does that look like? And then we start talking about the pros. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And quarterbacks, I bet you I've thrown with 20 quarterbacks, 50 whatever this offseason. And every one I go, God, I think he can be a major college player.
Yeah, I mean, my kids went to Mater Dei, so I got to see Bryce Young play in high school. Bryce versus DJ Uyunglele. I mean, those were it didn't look like high school. It's like, this is Bryce is throwing to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a high school team out there. That's what Modern Day had.
They're on TV every once in a while. I catch them. I don't know if I caught them last year, but I usually catch a game or two where they're playing one of their big rivals.
Right.
It's amazing. I go to some of the Catholic school high school games around here. I went to about 3 or 4 last year, and I'm just like, oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The talent, the size, the speed. The speed is the big thing. Man, it's just every level is just getting faster every year. Here's the speed of the offense. It goes what I'm not going to say that. For the quarterback. The quarterback's usually going to get a little slower every year almost because they don't work on running enough. They keep working on the pass game, which they really got it already, but they want to keep refining or just feeling or whatever. But I've told a few QBs, I won't say who they are. I said, look, when the offseason comes, hire a damn track coach. You're making $25 million a year and work on doing one thing, keeping your speed where it is because it's okay, maybe okay plus, and doing drills just to be more mobile. Because not that you're looking to run for 100 yards every game, but when the opportunity arises, you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal with all teams right now.
That was a big thing. That was a big thing for Herbert last year. He used his legs a lot and got the Chargers out of a lot of trouble and won a lot of games by using those legs. Think about that opener in Brazil, that third and whatever it was, 17 that he whips out on that side when Chris Jones crashed, and see you later.
How about that game? How about all that? When you saw it? You were there.
I was there, high above it, right in front of us. It was the sideline closest to the booth. DJ and I sitting in the booth, and it was just, you could see it as soon as you saw Chris Jones crash. Like, oh man, he's going for the home run. See you later, and whipped right around him, and he knew it too. It's funny when those moments when you're calling it and you're there, and you can see maybe what the people watching on TV can't because you've got the whole view. As soon as you saw him crash, you could just see him turn around and almost like go, oh
yeah,
no,
he did.
What did I do? There he goes. But
when I was watching the game, I'm going, oh my God, the Chargers are going to be unbelievable this year.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. That was a quick assessment, which I was wrong. But
they just Alt went down and Hampton went down, and it was just one of those years. But
when you lose a group of key players, that would be like us. I'm not going to say it's the same, but if we lost Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor at the same time, we're in trouble because everything is going to change.
Right.
Every aspect of the game for the defense is going to change, and thank God we never had to worry about that. I think those two always were healthy and playing together when I was there. So.
Wild.
I threw an interception at midfield one game, and it was really bad. I was like, oh my, what was I thinking? And I'm walking up the field, and Lawrence goes, hey, listen, don't worry. We'll get the ball back in better field position for you.
You're like, yeah, you're right. You will.
and what is so funny, at the second play, they fumbled, and, I got the ball at like plus 45 instead of where I was. And it was great.
That's great.
Yeah,
This was a blast. We certainly appreciate it. I know the Charger fans appreciate it. Phil does Bleav in Giant, or you do the Sims. You and Matt do the Bleav pod as well. So make sure you check all those out. You break it down. Carl does Bleav in Giants. That's what I was thinking of. But you and Matt are out there, and Chris, of course, just knocks it out of the park with his unbuttoned and everything that he's got going on.
Don't get in an argument with him. Because man, it's tough to win them.
Yeah, right.
I try. Yeah. Finally, I just go, okay. All right, I understand.
Not worth it. It's one of those. Yeah, Fubo, FanDuel Sports, Sims Complete. It's great stuff. And again, I don't know if they're still with you, but Bigelow T.
There you go. No, they dumped me.
Exactly. We got it all.
That's okay.
Great stuff.
You know what I'd love to do? I even thought about it. I said, I need to go to LA and spend a day and a half or whatever with the Chargers and the Rams. I really want to do it.
Yeah.
And, it sounds great, but when the time comes, I'm like, I can watch watch it on my computer or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I know Coach would love, Coach Harbaugh loves having guys like you out there, man. He just lights up
Oh,
when you guys show up. And, like I do this with Lowe, and whenever Lorenzo's on the field, I just see him like, oh, he gets all excited, grabs him, drags him out to the middle of the field, throws, he puts you to work, man. He's like, get in there, get over there with the running back group and get after it. You know what? I'll finish on this, Phil. And then again, I'm dragging this out, and I apologize, but I say it to everyone, right? I can't figure out I can't figure out why we don't have fullbacks in the Hall of Fame. And I do this with Lorenzo Neal. The guy blocked for 11 consecutive 1,000-yard rushers. Eddie George's best years, LaDainian Tomlinson's best years, Corey Dillon's best years were all running behind that guy. And I can't figure out why. I almost feel like it's not even brought up in conversation to try to get this guy into the Hall of Fame.
You know why? Because they look at the numbers.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple. And, I get, a lot of times or whatever, I just go, oh my God, that Hall of Fame committee, I don't know. They got to do something because it ain't right. And, everybody's worried about, we're worried about putting too many people in there. Well, hell, more people are going to come the more you put in.
Exactly.
What are we talking about? Now that's one of the criterias that we don't want to put too many in. Oh my God. Hey, we've already said it. The NFL is loaded with freaks. And I say that with, passion or whatever you want to see, in a good way.
That's a compliment.
Guys and then they are that. They change the game. But if their numbers don't line up, what are we going to do? That's what, it's not a game of numbers. There's more to it than just that.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's some guys out there and coaches. Mike Shanahan, what the hell's he got to do to get in?
That doesn't make any sense.
God,
that one doesn't change the game.
He created the zone blocking in the NFL. I mean, he was at the forefront of many things.
Took him 40 years to put Don Coryell in.
Gosh,
how does that make sense? It takes you that long. Whatever.
Yeah, I know it's tough, and everybody they act like it's so tough. Put them both in.
Right.
If it's that tough, then they both deserve to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, I hope it does.
No question.
You know what? Don't give up.
No.
Keep it in, because there's a group of people out there that will hear you say this, and hopefully I'll say it too, as I think about it, that they'll go, that's a great point. And, you can win people over. All you're doing is trying to tell the truth. So that's the way I look at it. Our
man DJ, I think, put it best last week. Daniel Jeremiah said, did John Stockton score a lot of points? No. But is he the all-time assist leader in the history of the NBA? Karl Malone in the Hall of Fame. Like, Lorenzo Neal is the John Stockton of the NFL. He's the assist.
That's a great comparison. It really is.
It's like he's just the assist. Here it is, and now I'm going to set it up for you. Now you get to go score the points, and that's.
Hey, before I forget, you make great points here. Tell Daniel Jeremiah that I'm a little hurt that he never calls me, because I don't know why he doesn't, but I watch all the draft guys, but I spend 80% of my time just evaluating all the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I do it more than once, because you get the initial look, you get away for it, and then a week later you watch again, you go, man, I was wrong. He's not very good. Things like that. So I really love doing it. But just tell him, I said, I'm a little disappointed he hadn't ever got me on or called me, but I'm kind of dealing.
I think DJ's answer would be the same as mine when Lindsay said, you want to put Phil on? I was like, don't bother Phil Simms to do this stupid show with me. You're not going to bother him. And I think that's probably what it is. They just feel like, I don't want to take time out of his day. But it's Phil Simms. I'm not going to bother him. Talk to me. I'm sure that's what it is. DJ probably looks at it that way. Like, I'm not going to bother that guy.
I am amazed when they do the combine, how much they can talk about each. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I sit next to him. I sit next to him on the flights, Phil, and it's all he does. It's all the whole flight. He's got his notebook, he's got his computer, he's got his giant hard drive, he's got his colored pen out, and however long that flight is, from the second we take off until the second we land, that guy is just grinding tape. And
you know what? He's a pro. He's great. That's why he still has a job. And,
Yeah.
when you listen to him, like it or not, whatever, he's truthful. He's saying exactly because I know he studied already. So you give him great credit for that. That's how he judged the guy. He deserves that, right? Because I know he did everything he could to really figure that guy out.
Yeah.
And, that's what's really cool. I mean, the combine this past year, oof, it was unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
I said, faster. Oh my God. Every group was faster than the
Every
fastest
single
group
group.
ever.
Yeah, so much so that they said the equipment must have been juiced or something. Didn't make sense. I mean, and we got one of those guys. We got Brennan Thompson in the 4th round and his 4.26 40, man. And boy, you can say what you want about that equipment because I saw it out there. I thought it was a double move, Phil. He was so wide open on this throw, and then they have the big screen to replay it behind you on the field. So I turned around, I was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't a double move. He just dusted that guy, and he
Isn't
was
that
by
something?
him like nothing.
God.
It 4.26 shows up for what?
That's real. That's
yeah,
real. Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah. Well, look, this was great, Matt.
Yeah,
good talking
you're
to you.
great.
And if I do get out there,
Please.
of course, I'll run into you. We'll say hi, and I'll let you buy me dinner. That'll be great.
Yeah, there's a place up the street. It's a Mexican joint. It's called Chipotle.
Okay. Very good.
There you go. On my budget,
I'll eat anything, man. That's one thing. So
that's what we got.
Well,
I'd love to see you out here. That would be awesome. This has been great. Certainly appreciate it, Phil. And again, it's Sims Complete, Fubo, FanDuel Sports. It's great stuff what you and Matt do. And this has been a lot of fun. So thanks for doing it.
All right, man. Have a good day.
All right. Bolt up, everybody.
Bolt up. I like it.